Here's a live look now at a polling station on Bloor Street where John Tory is speaking to the media. Let's listen in.
Sometimes when the contest is a little bit less pronounced, people, are less likely to show their interest. I think when you have, the fatigue that came from the pandemic and from previous elections, that might make people seem like they're less interested, but they love their city. And I know, municipal elections, it's always been a bit tougher. I don't know why, but people will turn out today, and a solid mandate will be given to those who are elected. And I'm looking forward to hopefully receiving one of those mandates and getting on with the job. Well, I think the first thing I need to do is to get on with the things I said I would get on with, which includes building more housing faster. It includes making sure I stand behind the transit plan. Obviously, our finances are in need of attention, and I'm going to put my experience to work making sure that we don't make the affordability crisis people are facing worse. So that's a few priorities that I'll be attending to in the early days. And I'm going to sit down with the senior members of the public service and talk with them about the fact that there are some things we need to do better on, which have come to our attention previous to the campaign, but certainly were discussed during the campaign, and we'll get to work on that too.
There's recent new faces on council. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm happy when there are new faces on council, not because I didn't get along with the people who were there before, but I just think renewal is a good thing, and it happens on a gradual basis, election to election. And, the bad news is that we have some people with great experience that have left. The good news is we've got some new people with fresh ideas, and my approach has always been, anybody who wants to work with me, I will work with them. We've got so much to do that, it's all hands on deck. So I'll be looking forward to meeting with the winners, whether they be new faces or faces that have been on council before, and deciding how to work with them. And that's something else that I'll do in the very early period after the election results come in. Well, it's something that has been dealt with. My position on it hasn't changed. I was supportive of it a number of years ago, but the province indicated that it was something they didn't wish to proceed with, and so I don't expect it's going to make it onto my agenda because the province, doesn't go along with it and doesn't think it's a good idea, and so it will just be something that we won't be hearing anything more about, I expect, for the indefinite future. I think the expressions that have been used, like superpowers and, strong mayor, probably are an exaggeration of the actual changes that have been made to the legislation, but they will help me to make sure we have the right people in place to do the right things. They will help me with the budget in terms of making that a process that hopefully can, address the challenges the city faces in terms of continuing with frontline services, but without placing a big new tax burden on people. And so I think those things will help, but I'm just going to do my job the same way. I work in a collaborative fashion, a cooperative and consensual fashion with members of City Council, with the other governments. I'll continue to do that. If these powers have to be used at some stage, these authorities, then fine, but I expect it'll be, few and far between in terms of the number of times they'll actually be used. That's my guess.
Money's going to be an issue in the next campaign, right? Your thoughts on that? More taxes?
Well, I've committed to keeping tax increases below the rate of inflation, because I just think one thing a mayor and a council shouldn't be doing right now is adding to the burden people face with interest rates up, with rents up, with gasoline prices up, food prices up. I don't need to add to that, and I won't add to that any more than is absolutely necessary. And so what that will place a premium on is finding more efficiencies in the government itself and partnerships with the other governments. It is absolutely necessary that, especially when we are delivering services locally in a very effective way to support people, whether they're experiencing homelessness or whether they're refugees or whether they're people who are facing substance use issues, that we receive the proper support from the other governments. And I think those partnerships have been pretty good. They've been pretty solid. I just need them to stay solid going forward so that we have the assistance we need to provide the services, but to do it in a way that doesn't place a strain on property taxpayers. Property taxes were never meant to pay for social programs and social services.
Voting numbers down. Why should people be getting out the vote?
It's their city, and I think it's very helpful to those of us who are in public office to have the public turn out to show their engagement and to express their views. But there will be a very large number of people who do turn out to vote today, and I'm very gratified by that. I will be gratified by that, but I would encourage people to please come out and vote. It's your city, it's your city council. We have big responsibilities, and I think that the more input we can get from the public, the better. And so I hope that lots of people will get out to vote today, and there's still lots of time, of course. The polls have just opened and will stay open until 8 o'clock this evening. Going once? Going twice? I had to look because it's number 31 on the list, but I voted for number 31, and it happens to have the name beside it of John Tory. And, I'm proud to do that, because if you didn't believe you could do the best job for people in terms of getting the housing built, more of it and faster, and getting the transit built, and making sure the finances are as well managed as they can be, and putting your experience to work for a city you love, if you didn't believe that, you wouldn't be running. So I'm happy when I show up and my name is on the ballot to put my dot there. It's a dot more than an X on these ballots, and so I found my way to number 31 and voted for John Tory. No. No, I think I've always been a believer in term limits, and I've always believed the appropriate time for those term limits was 12 years. 12 years, I think, is long enough to get some big things, largely done, but short enough that you leave room for some new people to come along. And so I want to work hard for the people, as I have done for the next 4 years, and work with the council and work with the other governments, and get as much done as we can on housing, on transit, on the finances, and making life better for people in the city. And so I'll concern myself with that. 4 years is a long time, and we'll get that done. Thanks very much, everybody. See you later. Have a great day.